Hi guys, welcome back. Now normally I choose these topics for you, but I hope at least a couple of employers are watching because they could benefit from what I'm going to share with you guys today. Today I want to talk about how irrational it is to rush to the defense of a supervisor who deliberately violates the law. I want to talk about some of the expenses that employers can expect while they're defending a person like that and some other options that they might want to consider instead. If you're an employee, maybe you could use this as encouragement to help you push through mediation or settlement negotiations. If nothing else, it goes to show that your employer will pay a price for defending discrimination. Now, most of us employees who are in this fight know how much it costs, and we also know that we have next to no chance of winning. So the fact that we're still in it should tell you something. You should probably also know that very few of us would have chosen this fight if we'd had any other option. So you employers could avoid a lot of the expenses that we're going to talk about today if you'd at least try to resolve your discrimination problem before attorneys get involved. Maybe instead of paying attorneys, you could put some money into fixing the discrimination. Over time, that's going to be way more cost-effective than defending individual offenders in court. And it's a win from an employee perspective, because what most of us wanted more than anything else when we started this fight was for the discrimination to stop. That's it. First, let's look at the cost of stopping the discrimination. That usually costs very little, and for sure a lawsuit will end up costing you much more. Job Accommodation Network says that the cost of the average reasonable accommodation is about $500, and EEOC makes exceptions for undue hardship. I won a maximum award from EEOC, but that's not what I wanted when I started. It's what the system gave me as compensation for being harmed by a boss who deliberately violated the law. What I wanted was reasonable accommodation, and if NASA had given me that, they could have saved a lot of money. So how much money are we talking about? I looked up some basic figures about what EEOC battles cost in the federal sector. If you want to know where I got those figures, the links are in the description. If you're in the private sector, you should know that the numbers are probably going to be higher for you. So here are the numbers. $3 to $15K for the investigation, up to $125K to get to the summary judgment, up to $250K to get through an EEOC hearing and appeal, plus damages. And here's a rough breakdown of what those could be. Based on these numbers, NASA spent between $500,000 and $750,000 to defend my boss's illegal actions. And they tried to force my case into federal district court where it would have cost millions more. And for what? To cover a bad supervisor who deliberately violated the law? How is that a good business decision? I think a better decision would have been to take some of the money that they ended up paying me and use it to fix their broken system. That would have been a good investment. Probably would have paid for itself by now. Maybe in the private sector they're smarter about these kinds of decisions. Maybe there, when a supervisor intentionally chooses to lose the company hundreds of thousands of dollars, there are consequences for that kind of thing. Maybe those consequences will convince other supervisors to comply with the law. But in the federal sector, I doubt that'll happen because taxpayers keep ponying up whatever our managers want to spend. My boss and her friends were able to justify close to $750,000 to keep me from being able to go clean myself after a medical emergency. How many millions do we have to spend defending supervisors who intentionally disrespect the law before we admit that this isn't justice and nothing's getting better for all the money that we're throwing at the problem? You employers could change that if you wanted to. For the rest of you guys, good luck. Hang in.